Welcome, everyone, to a very special episode of the Nick Cage Fight podcast, where we're reviewing one of the Holy Trinity Nick Cage films, Face Off. No jokes, very serious business here, the movie Face Off. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, joined as always by Rich and Ryan. How excited are you guys to talk about this movie?
Do you want to know
fucking excited, especially since I just found out Joe Bob Briggs is in this.
Do you want to know how excited I am? I watched this movie 4 times in the last 72 hours.
I only got
not
2
times.
in. Yeah, that is not enough times. Agreed.
All right, so Face Off, 1997 film, rated R.
Was the 11th highest grossing movie that year.
Fucking deserves it.
There you go. Clocking in at 2 hours and 18 minutes, but I am fine with that extra runtime.
No wasted motion. It's like a perfect ballet.
Yeah, very little fat on this film. So let's hop right into housekeeping because this could take a little bit.
Real quick before we do that, do you remember when we first started this podcast, Josh, and it was supposed to be us arguing over if Nick Cage was good or bad?
And it immediately turned into us all being like, Nick Cage might be an actual certified fucking genius.
Yes, very, very quickly. I think like 2 or 3 episodes in, it was just like, you know what? I think I took the bad on like Ghost Rider or something. Like, I can't do it.
I was going to say, I think Ghost Rider was the straw that broke the camel's back. Not a lot of straw there, but like
that
heavy straw.
Like that movie was bad and it sucked shit, but Nick Cage was really good in it.
There you go. Yeah, no, the us fighting about it dissolved almost immediately. For the most part, we just agree.
I had to shit on Snake Eyes. You have no idea how much that hurt me.
You couched all of it like very heavily. You're like, I love this film, but for the sake of argument.
Yes, that's basically what it was this movie fucking rules. I loved every minute. I gushed about like it wasn't really a one shot, but like a one shot in the beginning. And I'm like,
that's a single shot for a solid portion of time, at least like 6 minutes.
Right. But the actual, like, what is when people talk about that one shot, it's like an 18 minutes, but there's 2 cuts.
Yeah.
That are very hard to see, but they do exist.
So first up, we got our director. It was John Woo, who you might know from some other films he's made, including Hard Target, Broken Arrow, Mission Impossible 2.
Hard Target's so fucking good.
Hard Target fucking Broken Arrow fucking rules. That might be the only other John Travolta movie I really like.
I have to say briefly about Mission Impossible 2. So I have a very soft spot for generic action movies, and the Mission Impossible series is one of my favorites. Mission Impossible 2 is the biggest tonal departure from the out of all of the films in the Mission Impossible run, and that is including the fact that they went in a completely different direction after the first Mission Impossible. So that should be the standout, but 2 instead is the standout because of Woo's hand in it.
So you named only American movies directed by John Woo. I gotta shout out some of his stuff from when he was working as a Hong Kong director and then a Chinese director once Hong Kong was reintegrated into China.
There you go. The last 2 I had on my list were Manhunt and Hard Boiled.
Okay, Hard Boiled is the big one for me. Hard Boiled fucking rules. It's got the whole sequence where he's got like a baby strapped to his chest and he's just doing gun fu throughout a hospital, and it rules. The other ones I would say, The Killer, also with Chow Yun-fat, and the Better Tomorrow movies, if you haven't seen those, have some of the best gun action I've ever seen in a movie, including Hard Boiled and The Killer.
I'll have to check that out.
Those rule. There's one more I'm trying to remember the name of. Oh, Last Hurrah for Chivalry. That's him doing a straight up just like Chinese historical martial arts picture. There's no guns. It's, guns don't even exist at that time. But man, that guy can really direct some action.
Nice.
He also made one of my favorite movies, which is a bad movie, but I don't give a shit. Paycheck.
Oh yeah, Paycheck fucking rules. That's the one with what's his face?
Ben Affleck.
McGregor. Was it Affleck? Is Ewan McGregor in that?
No.
Huh. Am I thinking of a different movie altogether?
Maybe.
I gotta look this up. Aaron Eckhart. That's the guy I was thinking of.
They're the same fucking
They're the
person.
same man. One of them played Obi-Wan Kenobi. The other one's Aaron Eckhart.
Listen, you can replace Aaron Eckhart in basically anything, and it's fine. He's just there. He just takes up mass. Remember when everybody loved him for like 3 months because he did a pretty solid Two-Face?
Oh yeah, he did do a solid Two-Face.
And like everybody fucking loved him, and then like people remember that he's Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah.
Wait, was he the lead in Thank You for Smoking?
Yes, he was.
Yes,
that movie was pretty good.
That was a good one. I like that one.
I was about to say it didn't even have one sexual predator, but it did. Kevin Spacey was in it.
Kevin Spacey was
there you go.
absolutely
Yeah. They were so close. He was only in it for like 15 seconds. They were so close to getting that award of no sexual predators in a Hollywood movie.
It's so hard these days.
Yeah.
It really
damn near
is.
impossible, as we might find out.
But also, everyone in this movie fucks. Like, everyone in this movie absolutely had sex last night.
On to writers. We have Mike Werb, who who wrote a number of films, including The Mask, Darkman 3, Die, Darkman, Die. Laura
That's
Croft,
one of the good
Tomb
Darkman
Raider.
sequels.
What was that?
That's one of the good Darkman sequels.
And oddly enough, Curious George. I think it was one of the animated films, but
yeah,
I'm not
I
100%.
think it's the split live. It's either all CG or like the man in the yellow hat's a real dude and Curious George is CG. I have not seen it. So.
No, because I think that one was oh no, you're right, I think, because this is the one with Will Ferrell as the man in the yellow hat. So I think it was the one that was half animation.
Next up, we have Michael Colleary, who did Death Wish, Face of Death. Also wrote for Darkman 3 and Laura Croft Tomb Raider.
And like 3 episodes of Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he's from Jersey.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's from Montclair, New Jersey.
Damn, they didn't name one of our rest stops after him.
They really should have. Like, we could take away the John Bon Jovi one, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you guys a picture of the John Bon Jovi one. I stopped there on my way home from Boston.
I keep meaning, because I pass it probably once a month. Listeners, you may not know this, but one of our most loyal listeners hates John Bon Jovi with a vengeance. And every time I stop there, every time I pass there, I mean to stop in and just take videos and send him like 15 all at the same time.
See, it's funny. When I stopped there, I took a picture and sent it to him and asked if he needed anything from the John Bon Jovi store.
Excellent.
Also, listener, if you're not aware of this, a couple years back, our government decided to rename all of our rest stops in the glorious state of New Jersey after famous people from New Jersey. So
I didn't realize that happened until I was passing one. I was like, Frank Sinatra rest stop. I don't remember that being that name.
For me, it was, I didn't know Judy Blume was from New Jersey.
Oh yeah, neither until right now.
I was answering trivia about famous people on the drive home. First of all, the first one we saw when we got back into the state was the James Gandolfini one.
Hell yeah.
And then I had to explain who Connie Chung was.
That is a name that it took 2 seconds for the synopsis in my brain to fire. I forgot who that was.
Yeah. So anyway, a weird bit of trivia about New Jersey. So moving on to the cast of characters.
We got to talk about the cinematographer.
Oh, please.
His life is fucking, his career is fucking wild. This man's name is Oliver Wood. He is best known as the cinematographer for this film, The Bourne Identity, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Talladega Nights, Sister Act 2, and Morbius.
Sister Act 2 was a banger, don't care what anybody says.
It absolutely was. Oh, and The Adventures of Pluto Nash.
And Anchorman 2, apparently.
Yeah. No, dude's done some work.
Yeah. He died earlier this year, too.
Oh, did he? Was it Morbius? Did Morbius get him?
I think Morbius got him because he released Morbius in 2022 and died early 2023. I think he.
Oh, did you see the cause of death?
Was it Morbius time?
Shame.
Yeah,
Anyway, I'm sorry. I do love that the internet made that studio re-release it in theaters, and people are like, "No, we were fucking joking. You're not making another dollar off this film."
I just remember at the time I was playing World of Warcraft Classic, and the amount of It's Morbin times I saw, and people whose name was like Morbius with different types of O's was absolutely insane.
Excellent.
The collective will to clown on something will never cease to amaze me. It's our modern day version of the pyramids. Just seeing a bunch of people get together and do a thing is just a feat of human accomplishment.
Oh, shit,
And
this man
yeah,
also did
no
Mr.
slavery this
Holland's
time.
Opus.
He did Mr. Holland's Opus.
He did, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Wide variety the things that he worked on.
And that fucking piece of propaganda about Rudy Giuliani, just called Rudy.
Wait, who did that?
The cinematographer.
Oh, was it like a post 9/11 Rudy? Was it like released in 2002?
Oh, wait. This is about a football thing. I thought this was the.
I was gonna say, are you
movie.
talking about the Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
not Cuba Gooding
No,
Jr.
no, that's a
it
different-
was Samwise Gamgee from fucking Lord of the Rings played Rudy.
Yeah, it was Sean Astin. John Favreau
Yeah.
was also there. Ned Beatty.
You're thinking of
Radio.
Well, you're not
Oh,
just
son
thinking
of
of
a
radio. You're
bitch.
thinking of Jerry Maguire, where he plays a wide receiver.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
There's a couple of options there. It might have been a mix of radio and fucking Jerry Maguire
Yeah,
that fucked me up
radio-
on that one.
Radio
God.
is when he I'll choose my words wisely. He simple jacked it.
He simple jacked the shit out of that movie.
Did he win any awards?
No, he did not.
No,
because he
because he simple jacked
full on
it.
simple jacked it. He was simple jacking off in that movie, man.
Can't wait to get canceled. This is gonna be great.
Son of a bitch. Oh, real quick, because you brought up the fact that he worked on the Bourne movies. I'm sure. Okay, so this is one of those movies where you see that casting was basically like, who do you know? And they're like, oh, I know a guy. Because there is a lot of fucking overlap in this.
Oh, there's so much crossover from like Nick Cage movies.
Oh yeah. So, and I get to reference one of my favorite movies twice in this casting list. So
yeah. No, you're gonna talk about Alpha Dog.
yeah, you know I
Yeah,
am.
I know. I saw that.
So we got first up, man of the hour, every hour, especially this hour. Put some respect on this film. Nick Cage as Castor Troy.
Famous for being Nick Cage.
Very famous for being Nick Cage.
You may
also
know him
famous
from
for being
Buying a
Nick Cage
Castle.
playing another guy playing Nick Cage.
He's a dude disguised as a dude playing another dude in this movie.
That is all that was running through my head when I was fucking watching this movie again.
And they both fucking kill it.
They do.
Like,
do
good
a
on
really good
Travolta.
job. I'm sorry. I you want to hear something ridiculous? You want to know what the last John Travolta movie I watched prior to this one was?
Was it the one where he
was it
simple
White Man's
jacks it?
Burden?
Ryan got it in one.
Oh,
it was
shit.
the film directed by Frederick Durst of Limp
Yes,
Bizkit.
yes, that's right. I thought that was directed by Fred fucking Durst.
You didn't
He did it for
know
the Nookie.
Is that called that's the Fanatic, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
it's something.
Yeah, no, that's a movie. They made it.
If it was adjacent to Nick Cage, I would gladly cover it on this podcast. But that's a whole different set of childhood issues to work out. That's not this podcast. It's a slightly different one. All right, next up, John Travolta as Sean Archer,
Who you'll know from Fanatic.
who you'll know from Fanatic,
From that
as
fucking
well
from
as
that fucking Fred Durst movie.
Fucking
some
episode's
lesser
already
known
unhinged.
like Grease, Saturday Night Fever, Pulp Fiction, Phenomenon, Broken Arrow, Swordfish, and Battlefield Earth.
I was so
You'll-
close to buying a copy of Battlefield Earth like yesterday. I was at Goodwill and they had it, but the disc was a little fucked up, so I was like, nah.
You'll also know him from the 1996 movie In Orientation, a Scientology information film, as well as Tax Evasion.
Yeah, and I'll shout out Get Shorty because I like Get Shorty,
Get
regardless
Shorty
of the
was-
fact that John Travolta is in it. He's like the most boring part of that movie.
He was good in it. He was an Austin Powers Gold member.
Yes, he was.
The fuck?
Wasn't it the trailer where they got famous? Fucking Tom Cruise was in that movie. He plays in the trailer, like a fake trailer movie about
Yeah,
Austin
yeah.
Powers.
Oh, he was in that shitty John Gotti movie too.
He was also the bad guy in that Punisher movie with Tom Jane.
Arguably the best Punisher movie that's out there.
It's pretty close, but I honestly think Warzone is a little bit more gnarly. Warzone is I did not expect them to get Jigsaw right in a Punisher movie, and Warzone got Jigsaw right.
Also, Warzone was like more faithful to a comic book translated into a movie as a medium, whereas the Thomas Jane Punisher was
my mom even likes that movie, the Tom Jane one.
It was one of those early installs of like gritty, realistic comic book, right?
And it's the dude from Hung. He has a big dick.
I do love Hung. Hung is so good.
Also, big shout out to John Travolta for. I didn't realize he had such a prolific music career.
Is it all just credits from fucking Grease?
No, actually.
Is it a bunch of disco songs because he was in Saturday Night
Hairspray?
Fever?
Wasn't he in Hairspray, the movie?
I think so, yeah.
Yes, he was.
Is that the one that John Wooders directed?
Yes.
Oh, okay. The good old
this is actually different because I actually would never thought John Travolta was a good singer, but he had a string of single. Tell me more. Tell me more. Did she put up a fight? An actual line from Grease. Remember, Summer Lovin' is about sexual assault. No, he had like a string. He had a string of singles in like 74, 75, 76. 78 was when Grease came out, and then like he kind of stopped doing stuff. Everything after that was kind of either songs with Olivia Newton-John. It looks like a whole bunch of like Grease mashups. And he apparently did a song in 2008 called I Thought I Lost You with Miley Cyrus.
What?
Oh, it's from the movie Bolt.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like some more Scientology shit.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Also, I've got a correction. John Wooders didn't direct Hairspray. He just wrote the screenplay.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Still credit.
I knew he had something to do with it because it was, probably
he did
his least unhinged
play.
film.
Yeah, he directed the stage play, if I'm not mistaken.
Gotcha. Next up in the list, we have fucking ads because you knew we weren't going to get out of housekeeping before an ad read came up. Not on this film.
Man, I had no idea that ads also had a role in The Wire like everybody else.
Yeah.
And Law and Order.
I mean, listen, I've had a guest spot on Law and Order.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, it's
all right. So for real though, next up we have Joan Allen. Is it Joanne? Joan. Okay, I thought so. Yeah, Joan Allen as Eve Archer, who was in The Crucible, Nixon, Death Race, Room, the Bourne movies, and The Notebook.
And Peggy Sue Got Married.
Oh shit, I forgot she was in that.
Yeah, you're fine. She's in it.
I only scrolled
exists.
so far back on this one. Honestly, I'll tell you exactly what it was that turned me. I was like, all right. When I hit Room, which I dislike very much for a lot of reasons. Not because of Brie Larson. It's because I read the book the movie was based on, and all of it was sort of cashing in on a horrible real life event.
It was cashing in on the Norwegian dude, right? If I remember correctly.
Wasn't it Cleveland, that fucking House of Horrors in Cleveland?
There were two right at the same time. There was the Cleveland one, but then there was one in like either Sweden or Germany that was like even more horrific because it's like he had, it was like his daughter or his niece or something, and he had like 9 kids with her.
I remember that. I remember that happening.
Yeah, there was and then the other one was the Austrian dude. So I do have to shout out Manhunter for Joan Allen because I really like that. It's my favorite Hannibal Lecter movie.
There you go. The original, right?
Original. The one that has the entire duration of Inagata da Vida by Iron Butterfly during the final like chase scene.
Jeez.
And
I haven't seen that in a long
great.
time.
I'm going to shout out the remake to Death Race. Even though it's way worse than Death Race 2000, it's still a fun movie to turn your brain off to.
Yeah, it's fun. It's got Jason Statham in it.
Yeah, and I'll watch anything with Jason Statham in it. It doesn't matter what it is. I'll watch it.
Same. Except for The Mechanic. I'm not watching that one again.
Next up, we have Alessandro Nivola as Pollux Troy, who is in Jurassic Park 3, American Hustle, The Many Saints of Newark as Dickie Moltisanti, and You Were Never Really Here, which is actually a film that I quite enjoyed.
He was also in Coco Before Chanel, which is a movie that conveniently hides all of her Nazi ties.
There you go. I was unaware of that one.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Next up, we have Gina Gershon, Sasha Hassler, who was in Killer Joe, P.S. I Love You, a lot of TV, and Ryan.
Showgirls.
There
I
you
love Showgirls. It's not a good movie, but man, do I love it. You get to see Kyle MacLachlan fuck some lady inside of a pool. It's cool.
I thought you were gonna go through the whole Scream monologue.
Legitimately, I do love Showgirls, even though it is objectively a trash movie.
No, I do enjoy Showgirls.
Yeah,
I mean, it's probably the lowest possible tier for that director. Why am I blanking on his name? I love that man. Give me a second. I'll find him.
Well, you take that second.
We're all gonna feel incredibly stupid when I bring up this man's name.
She's also
Paul Verhoeven.
Verhoeven.
It's fucking Verhoeven.
She's also going to be in that Thanksgiving slasher that Eli Roth is making that was made for Grindhouse.
Oh,
she's going to be in Thanksgiving.
I can't wait.
Amazing.
I'm gonna see that opening day.
Yeah, I don't know.
She's also going to be in Borderlands, apparently.
Huh.
Which is another fucking Eli Roth movie?
Oh, it's not based on the video game with the really annoying
I think it
acting?
is.
Weird.
Yeah, it's based on a video game with the same name, but it's like directed and written by Eli Roth. So that's going to be weird.
Don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I'm not super excited about that.
I'm not a big Eli Roth person, unless he is smashing Nazis in with a baseball bat. That was a good Eli Roth.
I agree with that. But yeah, no, in general, I'm not a huge fan otherwise.
Yeah.
So next up, we have Dominique Swain as Jamie Archer. This was, as far as I could tell, her first film.
Yes, I also have that.
But she was also in Nightfall, The Lost Girls, and Alpha Dog. Got to call it out.
Oh, that's where your second Alpha Dog pops up then.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep,
she was
absolutely.
in Tart as well.
She actually, yeah.
She's in the worst adaptation of Lolita as the main girl as well.
Huh.
Oh.
Yeah, the one from the 90s that sexualizes the text. Unlike the one that Stanley Kubrick did, where it's just fucking dunking on Hubert Humphreys the entire time.
Yeah. There's a right way and a wrong way to engage with that particular tale.
Everyone who's made a movie about it has done it the wrong way, including Stanley Kubrick, in my opinion. But that is the way worse one in the 90s, I will say.
Gotcha. Yeah, her character in Alpha Dog was like the one teenager who's like, this is fucking crazy the whole time. She's the only one with any fucking brains. Next up, we have Nick Cassavetes as Dietrich Hassler.
Another Nick Cage fight alum.
Absolutely. From Prisoners of the Ghostland. He played Psycho, but he was also in The Hangover Part 2, which I have to include in that. And I think his name is like Tattooed Joe or something. I can't remember.
I'm looking at it here. Tattoo Joe.
Yep, that's what I'm seeing as well.
And he also directed Alpha Dog. So 2 Alpha Dogs back to back.
He was in a movie called Farticus.
I
just saw that.
Every once in a while, I'll throw in like the really weird film that they were clearly in. But I left off Farticus.
Gotta talk about Farticus.
His character is Adonis Papadopoulos.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
Well,
he was also in a movie called Assault of the Killer Bimbos.
Every Greek person you know's last name is Papadopoulos. Every single one. Doesn't matter who. Their actual last name is Papadopoulos. They're all related. Everybody in Greece is a third cousin.
So next up, we have Harv Presnell.
Fuck you, Greece.
This is Victor Lazar. I'm not trying to go to war with Greece.
No. The movie, not the country.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
You transitioned between those two seamlessly.
I know, right? It's so we don't get canceled.
There you go. That's smart. Yeah, Harv Presnell as Victor Lazaro, who is in Fargo, Saving Private Ryan, Unsinkable Molly Brown, Mr. Deeds, which I thought was funny, and Patch Adams.
Oh, we have 2 Fargo people in this movie. I missed him.
Yeah, no, he was in Fargo.
Okay.
Next up, we have Colm Feore as Dr. Malcolm Walsh, who was in Chicago, Thor, The Chronicles of Riddick, Umbrella Academy, played King Lear in King Lear, if you could believe that.
So did he also play Mario in the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Sadly
No.
not.
No, but remember that, dear listener, because it's going to come up again. Weirdly. And he's also an Amazing Spider-Man too. So next up, we have John Carroll Lynch as prison guard Walton, who was also in Fargo. But he was also in Gothica, Paul, The Founder, Shutter Island, Gone in 60 Seconds, The Fan, Bubble Boy, which I still enjoy.
Yeah, Bubble Boy's a fun one.
Shout out Crazy Stupid Love.
Crazy Stupid Love. He's been in a bunch of shit,
including like almost 80 episodes of the Drew Carey Show.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get into his TV shit, we're gonna be here all day. He was in,
that is true.
The Walking Dead. He was in fucking American Horror Story.
As the fucking clown, right?
Yeah,
he was in Veep.
Oh, Veep. Who was he in Veep?
Lloyd Hennick for 3 episodes.
Oh,
he was also in an episode
He plays
of the
what's
Billions.
his name? Fucking stepdad, Jonah Ryan's stepdad. I'm sorry, I love Veep. I think it's probably the best political documentary I've ever watched.
He's also in the show Billions, which, if I remember correctly, is a show that you enjoy, Ryan.
No, I do not.
No, Josh. I thought Josh watched Billions. Who in my life watches this fucking show? I watched 3 episodes. I thought it was fucking terrible. I didn't have the heart to tell him.
I might have brought it up because I was like, I mentioned somebody was getting me into watching Succession. And I said it was one of those shows that I get confused with like 5 other shows, and Billions was one of the shows I got it confused.
I don't even know what the fuck Billions is about.
It's about a billionaire who's an asshole.
Wow, that's really unique.
But also the FBI guy who is trying to catch him is like a sex pervert. So
it's got Paul Giamatti. I might actually.
He's the sex pervert.
That sounds about right. That man gives off sex pervert energy.
He likes to get peed on in that show.
Cool.
So cool. Cool.
Not there's anything wrong with that. We're not here to kink shame. I'm not going to yuck your yum.
I don't give a shit what you do in your own free time with consenting adults. And last up on my list with a little asterisk is CCH Pounder as Hollis Miller, who is in Avatar, RoboCop 3, The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones, The Shield, Godzilla, King of Monsters, Orphan. She's CCH Pounder. You may have seen Dennis Reynolds' impression of her in an episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Can we talk about how that's the greatest name ever?
CCH Pounder is a phenomenal name.
That's a great name.
I need to know what her Uncle Sam name is now, so I'm going to look that up.
Carol Christine
Hilaria
Pounder.
Okay, cool. That's really fucking cool.
I want to know how far she got in life before she was like, yo, just throwing in the initials and then the last name sounds badass as shit.
Oh shit, she was in All That Jazz. I love All That Jazz.
Oh yeah, that movie fucking rules. I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, dude, just give me all the Bob Fosse in my life. It's fucking tremendous.
So I said with an asterisk because I have no less than 4 honorable mentions that are basically cameos in this film.
And I forgot one you didn't.
I think I have 5.
I'm going to talk about when we get to it.
Okay. Yeah, we will bring these up as these characters sort of appear. So, anybody want to shout about any major names and major
Robert Way Wisdom.
What was that?
Robert Wisdom. He was Bunny Colvin on The Wire. He was the one who made a Hamsterdam.
He was in Dark Knight Rises. He was in Ray.
Nah, fuck all that. He's in The Wire. He's Bunny Colvin. That's all you need to know.
All evidence points to CCH Pounder has been using that stage name since her first credited appearance in a film, which was All That Jazz.
Which is why I'm hoping that she fucking landed on that in like grade school and just dominated straight to the big screen.
Yeah, because I was hoping to
find
what she did.
She pounded her way through that
as Carol Pounder or some shit on the thing, but no, it's always CCH. The only credited as alternative is when they put like C.C.H. as the fucking the abbreviation.
Gotcha. All right. So we can move on to the plot of this movie.
No, we can't. We have other people to talk about.
Do
Who?
we?
We got motherfucking. We didn't. Did we talk
well,
about
there's a
Danny
couple-
Masterson?
No, because there's a couple that we're
They're
going to talk about
honorable
as
mentions.
they come
They're
up.
cameos. We're gonna bring them up
Fine.
They're
when we
in the
get to
scene,
them.
yeah.
Fine. Well, you don't know what part he is, but you should.
It's appropriate. I will say this. All right. And I did not mean to gloss over. Margaret Cho is in this.
Yeah.
Um,
She's not very funny in this though, which is
as
sad.
she's in it as Wanda, and it's just like a couple of supporting actress scenes, basically, with the way the her role is in the film.
You
But
can
Margaret,
tell that she is not like Margaret Cho yet. She is
Yeah.
just reading lines on paper.
yeah, I don't think they gave her the appropriate room to breathe personally. On this one, she has one joke delivery, and I just think it's sort of poorly written. But
It's a weak joke too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but anyway, now we can jump in to the plot of Face Off.
Lights
Yes.
down, curtains open.
We are
And-
40 minutes into this podcast.
Yeah.
Like a half hour.
It's only
Okay.
downhill from here. I promise you that. Because this is going to go off the rails very, very quickly. So we open on
We open on the funniest scene in the movie.
September 1991, which is a flashback, and FBI special agent Sean Archer, Mr. Travolta, is on like a carousel with his young
Is
son.
weirdly touching his son's face.
It is very weird.
Like, why didn't they just throw in like a throwaway line that like he was deaf? It would have made all the sense.
No, because the weird face touch thing is
They all
all
his
actually
whole family.
a critical part of the plot to this movie. It is necessary.
Yeah, John
But-
Travolta's just like that, apparently.
As I'm watching this movie, I'm like, what did I sign up for? Are these two about to have sex?
So
The way that John Travolta is looking at that child is very uncomfortable.
to properly describe this, John Travolta, his character in this, it is a thing with his family members. They have this weird intimate, like, run your hand down the face of your immediate family members. This is a gesture that
slowly.
it's a gesture that
Sensuously.
not just he uses, but it's sort of an inside thing with his family. So he's doing this to his kid on a carousel. They look like they're having a good time. Again, it's a little odd. It's supposed to be touching, but it tips the scales a little bit until you're just like, this is odd. This seems odd. I'll say this. I've never seen a parent interact with their child on a carousel like that in real life. And if I did, I might mention it to park security.
Oh, yeah. The way I wrote this in my notes is like, and also like John Travolta is acting way too loving to this boy. I don't care if it's his son. No father in the 1990s gave any son ever any type of physical or emotional validation. It doesn't matter who you are. All dads were like just on the recliner watching ice hockey.
Yeah, no, I don't want to bring my own childhood issues into this. Like, I'm not saying I have a problem with that level of displays of affection between a parent and child. What I am saying is I would, if viewing it, make sure somebody double checks that they're actually related and that kid is supposed to be with that adult. just in case, man. That's all I'm saying. From here we cut to our first look at the man himself, Nick Cage, who is sporting a mustache in this scene. It's the only
Mustache
mustache
Cage
is
is
so
back.
good.
It was such a good mustache. We love a mustache Cage.
Fuzzy little caterpillar on his lip.
and he is of course setting up a sniper rifle with a silencer on it on like
But it's
a
like
hill
30 yards away. You don't need a sniper rifle.
overlooking the carousel, and then he takes aim and waits for his moment.
No. So my favorite part about this is that they kind of pull a trick on the audience. is he looks through the scope and then he looks up and he looks down as if to be like, am I about to try to shoot this man in front of his kid? But that's not what he's thinking. He's just thirsty.
But
if
got
you
a big
look-
gulp.
But if you look at his face reads like, am I sure I want to do this? And the answer is yes, I'm just thirsty first.
You gotta get at that big gulp.
So he lines up the shot, shoots, and the bullet hits Travolta in the back, and him and his son fall. Essentially, the fucking kid dies. Archer survives,
And
but
then
baby
the carousel,
Archer
then the carousel gets
does
all
not.
spooky. They do this weird filter on the carousel and distort the music to make it seem like the carousel itself is evil, which I enjoy.
Yeah, man.
Carousel made me do it.
Well, no matter how you slice it, that carousel is haunted now. So
If it wasn't before, which I
If
think
it
all
wasn't before,
all
correct.
carousels are haunted at least a little bit.
to a degree, right? To a degree.
Yeah,
to a degree.
absolutely. You know what's not haunted though?
Capitalism? No, I'm pretty sure that's
Capitalism.
pretty haunted.
No, it's not. It's not haunted at all. It's working perfectly. Fuck, I
As
am
intended.
poor. Yeah, it is keeping me hungry and poor.
So I'm assuming some goods and services aren't haunted unless this next ad is specifically for haunted shit.
Yeah, this might be like an eBay ad for haunted dolls.
Yeah. We cut to the ad. It's like, have you ever wanted a fucking haunted doll? Come to Haunted Dolls Emporium. These
Or like-
things are spooky as fuck. I'm trying to get rid of them. Slashing prices so low just to get them out of my fucking house.
Nothing says I love you like the gift of a haunted doll.
Or like maybe the Skull and Bones took out an ad on our podcast. Because you know that shit's haunted.
All right, there you go. Listen to these ads.
Oh no, my haunted doll escaped.
You are haunted by a doll possessed by the ghost of George H.W. Bush.
Oof, that's bad. That's
not a good
not
doll.
one you want to get.
No.
So, fun fact: during those ads, 6 years have passed in the plot of this film.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's do this.
Well, we started on a flashback. It had to
Yeah, I
progress
know.
at some to some degree. So Archer is still doing FBI shit. We learn he's in the Los Angeles field office, and he is been pursuing Castor Troy ever since this attempted assassination on him. We learn that Castor is some type of for-hire terrorist, which is kind of, I didn't know that was a career.
Yeah, I mean, it was way easier before 9/11.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't know it was like a gig economy for it. You know what I mean?
I guess so. Like sometimes you just need a white person to do it, I guess.
So so Archer's got basically like his big Charlie Kelly conspiracy wall documenting all of the shit that Castor's been doing. He's a dick at work. We get to see that pretty apparently. He is not very nice to his coworkers or colleagues.
And he also
is-
seems kind of bad at his job too. I mean, like he really isn't, but they're just like, oh yeah, Interpol says he's like, I don't care about Interpol. I'll trust a $10 snitch.
Yeah. He's just a dick. He's
And,
the guy-
and the only reason he catches these fucking people is because the brother. We'll get to it. We'll get to when we get to it. It's fine.
Now we cut to maybe the best scene in the film. Like, I feel like they unload very early on us because we cut over to check in on what Castor is doing.
So real quick, I don't think it's the best, but it sets the tone appropriately, is what I would call it.
I'm sorry, there's one scene that gets me every fucking time without fail, and it's in this scene.
It's Castor Troy, Man of the Cloth, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, but specifically the scene, I'll get to it. I'll try and describe it in great detail.
I'm assuming the face.
No, it's not that. So so Castor is dressed as a priest, like a Catholic priest, to get into what we learn is the convention center.
Oh, I know what scene it is. Never mind.
And he's assembling like a gigantic bomb device of some sort. and he walks out of the room he set up the bomb in, and there is a choir, a church choir practicing. That's why his disguise makes sense to get into this place. But when he walks out in full
In
full
full
priest
garb.
vestments, he claps his hands, puts his hands on his knees, and headbangs
It's really good.
to the choir, and that part right there gets me every fucking time. I'm like, that's amazing. I wouldn't believe it if you showed me it in the script that it describes that's what he's supposed to do. I choose to believe that was pure Cage.
Yeah. Just of everything that happens in the next 45 seconds.
Yeah, because at this point he goes up to one of the young ladies singing in the choir, and then starts hitting on her, and then steps behind her and grabs her ass. And
Well, he says, like, I love that he's dunking on Handel and being like,
Yes.
the Messiah is boring.
It's
Yeah.
boring.
Only reason
Handel's a
people-
hack.
Handel's a hack. The only reason people like it is because they say hallelujah a bunch of times.
he's like, but hearing you sing it, second guessing myself. And then he literally grabs this girl's ass and throws his head back and makes a Cage face.
It is the
we've-
second best Cage face in the entire movie. I will talk about the best one when we get to that.
We've all seen the meme. It will be the photo of this episode.
Absolutely, yes. And the photo of the second episode should be the other good Cage face.
Right, I hate to tell you, his is going to be a 3-banger, buddy.
It is. All right. We'll see.
We are 6 minutes into this film, and we are like 50 minutes into a podcast.
We knew
Yeah,
this was
that's
going to be a
fair.
monster.
That's true.
It's one of the Holy Trinity. How do you got to give its due?
You gotta let it
it
breathe. It's a fine red wine.
Yeah. So we cut back to Archer. And Archer, so this film does do a good job of setting up these characters very, very quickly because they have to. So we get quintessential Castor in the priest scene. And now we're getting essentially quintessential Archer because he's like gets off the phone after yelling at his boss. His like secretary comes in and he's like, your wife's calling on the line. And then somebody else busts in and is like, oh, we got a line on the Troy brothers. The dumb brother just booked a private jet.
A little disappointing they don't call them the Troy Boys.
Troy boys, that's a good one. I didn't even think of that. And Archer's just like, oh no, fuck, leave my wife on hold. We gotta go do this.
Gotta go deal with the Troy Boys.
Yeah. So like Archer jumps into action immediately. He's like, we got to get an undercover agent on that plane. And he's dealing with some back talk from some of the other agents. They're like, but we're not even sure if Castor is even gonna show up. And Archer's like, the younger brother never flies without the older brother. We got him. This is our chance. So then we cut over to Pollux Troy, who is
A weird little freak.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, did anybody else think that they like kind of tried to make him autistic and then forgot about it?
Maybe. I think they just tried to make him into a weird little freak, which is what he is.
Well, the reason
Correct.
why I think they tried to make him autistic and then just forgot was the shoe tying that's about to happen.
Maybe.
I tend to agree. Here's the only reason why I disagree. If this movie was made like 10 years later, then Rich would be right. But this was the 90s, and we didn't have clearly defined terms in the like public zeitgeist for this. So instead of saying that is an autistic character, we said that's a weird little freak. And we're going to show you that that's what they are by having a bunch of weird little quirks.
But there's still weird little freaks today, like Paul Dano.
Paul Dano's such a weird little freak.
Weird little freak.
That's a true to life weird little freak right there. He was in that Farty Boner Corpse movie I like so much.
He was. Well, that's what he does. He's just a weird little freak constantly. But yes, he was in Swiss Army Man, and that movie fucking rules.
It does. I'm glad you knew what I was talking about with the Farty Boner Corpse.
Yeah. He steers the fart boat with his boner.
Yep.
So Pollux is waiting on like the tarmac of an airfield. And this is, in fact, where we get our first honorable mention cameo. He's technically in one other scene as far as I was able to clock him. But Tommy Flanagan is one of the goons in this film.
I didn't even clock him in this at all.
Me neither.
Not once.
I did not.
Completely unceremonious, but it's definitely him.
We also get one of my favorite recurring bits in this, which is just the box full of drugs and chiclets.
Yes.
That was a good bit.
I don't
It's a
know
cool
what it is
bit.
about. Yeah, what's up with the chiclets?
He's a chiclet man.
He's got a little Hunter S. Thompson box. He considers chiclets to be, a substance he needs.
He's a terrorist warlord. He has his box of goodies, and he's got all of his little knickknacks and keepsakes in there. Guns, chiclets,
Totally dope guns.
a money clip.
The money clip.
Drugs.
Yeah.
A lot of drugs.
A pretty dope money clip. I would have that.
Yeah, man knows how to accessorize.
Yeah, absolutely. So Castor shows up, and they talk while Castor gets his little box of goodies. And there's actually like you get the sense that something has gone a little bit awry because Castor is a tad bit late, and Pollux has taken the initiative to pay for the private plane or whatever, which Castor kind of scolds him for doing, saying that's why we have henchmen, basically. So at this point, they then, I'm sorry. I don't want to gloss over what Rich said. One of Pollux's things is he never ties his shoes properly, so they're always coming untied like he's a fucking 6-year-old. So Castor ties them for him, and then they go to board the plane. And then this is we get another weird scene with Castor just being an absolute deviant in general. He starts hitting on one of the flight attendants, which actually turns out to be the FBI plant on the plane, which has such an iconic line that they use it later in the film for the voice modulating thing, the "I can eat a peach for hours" bit, which
it's so good.
I don't know why they chose to use it twice in the film. It seemed like an odd stylistic choice, but whatever.
What I'm guessing is because she was probably mic'd up, and that is when she's closest to him, and that might be what they got. I don't care. It's a funny fucking line. I'm happy I heard it 6 times.
I don't know why they didn't go with "If I told you to suck my tongue, would you be grateful?" I think that's a better line a little
also, bit. I'm glad you brought that up because the gear shift in that delivery, I have to admit, is pretty good.
And it's a returning bit too, because there's a later part where Gina Gershon's like, "You just tell me to suck your tongue."
Yeah. But to give it its proper due, he's like, "If I wanted to send you flowers, where would I?" Sorry, let me try that again. "If I told you to suck my tongue, would you thank me?"
And then she sucks his tongue.
Yeah.
God damn.
He's a horny little freak.
Nick Cage invented negging before every one of these pickup artists.
They all just watched Face Off and was like, I can do that.
No, you enroll, you pay all the money to enroll in Hustlers University. There's only one video, and it's just a DVD rip of Face Off.
Just watch Nick Cage. This is how you do it. Except for when he becomes John Travolta, then watch John Travolta.
Of course, at this point, as the pilot is starting to take off, the FBI swarms, right? A lot of them are coming up the back of the tarmac, but of course, Agent Archer is racing directly at the plane on the runway in a Humvee.
Our hero.
Yeah. A psycho.
Well, that wasn't a Humvee, that was a Fun V.
There you go. Castor goes to like the cockpit of the plane and threaten the pilot with a gun, which I always think is like a funny thing. It was like, what, are you rated to fly this? What are you gonna do if you shoot me? Like, I don't understand that as a threat. I don't know why pilots are ever intimidated by that. They're like, you can't do this. So, anyway. But we do get a sense of how fucking crazy Archer is because he plays chicken with a plane.
Seems like a bad idea.
It is. And he does agree at the last second that it's a bad idea by like swerving away. But Winners tries to the Winners being the flight attendant who is the FBI undercover.
Yes, who sucked his tongue.
Yes. She tries to stick up Castor at this point, but that doesn't go well. She's basically I think Pollux fucks up her aim, and then
he throws the briefcase at her and
Yeah.
then gets on top of her and just starts pounding the shit out of her.
Yes. So Castor's screaming at the pilot, and Archer is still chasing down the plane. He swerves at the last second, and then the plane, I believe, continues on for a little bit. Castor leans out an open door with the undercover agent and shoots her and shoves her out of the plane, and then the plane crashes into a building.
Into a
hangar.
A hangar.
Yeah.
I forgot the word for a second there. It was like plane building. You know, a building for planes.
It's where the planes live.
Yeah. It was right into a plane house.
A house for planes. That's what it slams directly into.
What is this? A house for planes?
It needs to be at least 3 times the size of that.
At least.
He's
I'm
absolutely
sorry.
right.
I got a little ahead of myself because after the Humvee,
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we forgetting something important involving a helicopter?
Yes, but not really.
Not really at all.
It's so brief. So after the undercover agent is shot and pushed off the plane, and the Humvee swerves after deciding not to play chicken with the plane, the agents pile out and check the undercover agent. She's 100% dead. Not mostly dead, very dead.
Extraordinarily dead. And also, one of my favorite things about this is Robert Wisdom, who plays Tito, like, you know, the sidekick to John Travolta, essentially is just being Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon. Like, you can't do that. It's very much like an I'm too old for this shit kind of take.
Yeah. It is.
Like everything is like, you can't do that. What are you doing, Archer? That's against protocol.
So I can't believe I forgot this insane sequence of events. For some reason, there's an FBI helicopter that like touches down after the Humvee pulls over, and Archer jumps into that and is like, take off. And the helicopter pilot's like, all right, boss. And he takes off, and then he's like fucking shooting out at the plane, and then they hit the plane's wing with the helicopter rotors, which I don't think is how that works.
It's a John Woo movie. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
To
physics do not exist in this man's universe.
Yeah, to fuck up the plane. And then that's where the pilot's like, we can't take off. Like, they fucked up our wing. We got an engine out. And so Castor just shoots him in the head. And this is what predicates the crash into the house for planes.
The plane house.
The plane house. So I'm trying to follow my notes on this because the helicopter has to touch down at something. Yeah, the helicopter lands. The police are swarming the hangar at this point, and Castor pulls out his twin pistols and leaps from the plane while firing both of his pistols.
Have you ever jumped through the air with 2 guns going, ah?
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually surprised they don't reference this movie in that.
That is what they're talking about.
There's a lot of action movies.
There are a lot of actions where they do that, but I'm pretty sure it's that and fucking Point Break are like the 2 specific points of reference that Nick Frost has in Hot Fuzz.
Point Break they reference explicitly several times in Hot Fuzz. So I don't know that. It's a little shame we didn't get a shout out for Face Off directly in that film.
Yeah,
but
fair.
It's possible they were talking about it. So we get our massive firefight in this hangar. Like a bunch of people are shooting and
a
flying,
bunch of cool shit happens.
Castor is essentially retreating through the hangar and shoots a bunch of different people. He shoots the ear off one of the agents, who is actually a named agent who shows up again later in the film. But mostly it's nameless agents getting just fucking blown away, just fucking blasted. Castor gets does he get a shotgun at this point, or am I thinking of a different scene?
I think that you're thinking of a different
Yeah,
you're
because
right. You're right.
The actual showdown is with the handguns.
Yeah, this is his pistols, and the agents have like submachine guns and shit. Of course, there's a water pipe that gets shot at some point, and Pollux is sort of manhandled. I think he gets knocked out or something by some agents.
Yeah, he gets like knocked down, and
handcuffed.
Tito gets him.
Yeah. Castor's still killing like SWAT officers and FBI agents. This is, I guess, like a big like multi-departmental raid. Oh no, he does use a shotgun. I wrote this down. He takes a shotgun off of an officer and shoots another agent with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Castor does see Pollux getting arrested, but he ignores this and runs deeper into the hangar, and Archer pursues. When Archer is trying to like get to where Castor is, there's like another agent or SWAT officer or something, and Archer tries to like get to him and get him out of the line of fire, but Castor shoots him like square in the chest, I believe. And then at this point, I believe we're down to the first face-off between Archer and Castor.
This is where they each say, like, you've been counting, you only have one bullet. Oh, well, I'd see you know your gun. That's one thing we have in common.
Yes. This is after a little bit more cat and mouse. There's an absurd amount of their like reloading their guns, firing their guns again.
And at some point, one of the turbines that's being worked on in the hangar gets turned on, which is important in a moment.
Which doesn't make sense. Yeah, there's like a completely detached jet engine.
Well, no, it makes sense. That's generally how they have it set up. They have like the wind tunnel behind it so that they can do the testing on a jet engine.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware.
Yeah. That's what that little like tunnel that he gets shot down is. It's something to measure how much like horsepower you get out of that bad boy.
That makes sense. That does make sense. So we get to the antagonists and protagonists facing off, holding handguns in each other's faces. There's a really goofy bit where they like one dips their arm and one like raises their arm as they're like circling each other. Makes no fucking sense. I
love it.
It's real good. It's real good.
That's what John Woo do.
It doesn't make sense.
No, it makes zero sense, but who cares? It looks cool.
But yeah, so now Castor is like taunting Archer, trying to get under his skin, making like gross comments about his daughter. And in the middle of this, he actually yells and pulls the trigger, but he was out of bullets.
I couldn't tell if that was an accident or not. Like,
I don't think he thought he was out of bullets, is what I think was
okay. I wasn't sure if it was that or if he knew he was out of bullets. And just as he's yelling and flailing around, he just hits the trigger accidentally.
No, he's trying to get the jump on him. This is pull the trigger first. That's the only way you win a standoff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So trying to thread it in between insults, he was very clearly ready to just shoot Archer dead. And Archer, to his credit, I guess, did not take the opportunity to do the same to him. But at this point, Castor goes to his knees and is like, okay, just arrest me. It's fine. I'm ready. I think he says the exact quote is, "I'm ready for the big ride, baby."
Yeah, he starts singing it.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. He starts singing. But the whole while he's still just doing a distraction tactic. He is reaching for a punch dagger. Who has a punch dagger anymore?
He does in 1997.
Clearly. That's like placed in the back of his belt or whatever. And when he goes to swing at Archer, Archer kicks him, and he kicks him directly in line with this active turbine, which blows him down the wind tunnel, and he cracks into the wall at the back of it and falls down motionless. And I think that's where we got to cut at least episode 1.
and he dies. No more Nick Cage in this movie. This is a cageless movie from here on out.
It's so funny because even the actors like no sell this. They're just like, oh yeah, he's dead. They're like, is he? What?
It seemed like he just fell on a chain link fence, boss.
You're like, no, he's fucking dead. And we all believe it. And that is as compelling as the dialogue is at this point.
Yeah.
All right. So that's part 1. We made it through housekeeping. We made it through like 20 minutes of the movie,
Yeah.
if that.
I mean, 20 seems right. That opening salvo is a pretty long action scene.
It's dense. The action sequences in this are very dense. We're gonna see if we can keep up the energy trying to do them justice.
Oh, I'm sure we can.
Oh, I know we can. But in the meantime, while you're waiting for the next episode where we continue Face Off, feel free to follow us on social media. You can find us on Twitter at cagefight_pod and on Threads at fucking nowhere, because we're not signing up for some Facebook ass knockoff product.
There's
out of here.
We're not using Twitter. It caps us at like 600 views. Who the fuck cares about it anymore?
Yeah, no, I think just out of spite, they gave us less views on our podcast Twitter. We have a Patreon.
We do have a Patreon, patreon.com/NickCageFight. Give us $3 a month and we give you episodes with no ads. Give us more money than that and we give you other things. We will be reviewing The Wrestler within the next week.
Coming soon.
So
that sounds right. Yeah.
We do it. We've been talking about doing a few live streams about some Nick Cage rankings, about the presidential battle royal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that. Also, we might actually have to make a Twitch channel because Nick Cage is going to be directly in a video game playing himself. Even if it's a video game I'm not particularly a fan of, I feel like we have to show out for that.
Heard some voice clips from that.
I think you might be correct.
But yeah, there you go. I think this one is in the books. Thanks for joining us for the first episode of Face Off, the first of the triumvirate of Nick Cage movies, arguably one of the three primary reasons we started this podcast. So thank you again. And as always, listeners, we appreciate you.